Susan, Seaside Stitches, or Sewing at the Seaside. I still haven't decided on a name, but I live at the seaside. I'm a bit bonkers about nautical things, seasidey things, beach huts. Anyway, why I'm here today is to just talk about this dress that I think is fabulous. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. It does look like furniture, very like a sofa we had in the 80s, and a pair of curtains to match, some Sanderson print curtains. But I really love it, and I love it because I've sustained the energy to finish it. And that's been my main thing about it, that I started it with, as an amazing fit, a Simplicity 1537. I'd made two before, about 7 years ago. I'd had problems with the fit initially, and although they give you, because it's an amazing fit, there's a B cup and a C cup option. You can add extra around the hips at the back if you're more well endowed in the bottom department. Yes, the way that the hem is finished off, there is an allowance for if you need to take that up with your hips, then you still get a quite flattering finish. So I had enjoyed doing those, but they had been quite, I found I couldn't get the fit right even then, but I worked on it and I managed it. This, I could not get the fit right at all. Two princess seams, a dropped waist. I had it as a calf length. I don't like a bracelet length sleeve. Being tall and having long arms, sorry, I'm knocking the camera. Anything around here drives me mad because it feels like I've just got a jumper on that's too small or too short in the sleeves, or a garment on that's too short in the sleeves. Up here is fine, but if it's just up past the wrist, I really don't like it. So I didn't do that length, and I didn't do a cap sleeve. I did just below the elbow on one, and on the other I did sleeveless and always wear a shrug with it. So they were really lovely fabrics as well. They were both from Abercon. This is from Abercon. I'm not affiliated. I'm an independent sewist. I've only just started doing YouTube, a YouTube channel, and I just really love the sharing of other people's makes to me, and I thought I may do something back for them, or for the universe, or for myself. Mainly this is for myself. It's about, I used to be a trainer in a kind of different life some time ago, and I was used to speaking to people, and circumstances being what they are over time, you forget you've got the skills. And so I'd forgotten that I'd got the skills for sewing, and just recently I've got back into it and I'm just really enjoying it. So, and I'm inspired by, I keep mentioning Michelle at Sewing Bunny, and she's so amazing with her, oh, I love this, I just love this. She does love everything. She loves the fabrics, she loves I think very much like me, she loves the achievement of it, the self-achievement that it gives her. But I can't speak for her. But she's very inspiring because she'll have a go even though she's not done it before, or she kind of forgets she's good at things. I just find her very good, very inspiring, very, just such a happy smiling face, and it's lovely, it's heartwarming. And I love Andrea at the Beyond the Pink Door. Andrea is she's just very knowledgeable, very, very straightforward, very skilled, and also loves the colours and the patterns, and the patterns on the fabric, and the patterns that she uses. So I've got a lot from those two, and also from many others, but they stand out to me at the moment. Anyway, so I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm just telling you that I'm here just to share this. This is, so this now, I had to abandon it. I did 2 of the extra side pieces. I tried again to get the bust shape right. I have a lower bust. I'm not a big bust, but I'm low busted, so I have to make alterations here and adjustments. But I could not get it right. I couldn't get the fit I wanted. I got the left side right. I could not get the right side right. And so what amazes me about it, amazing fit, what amazes me is I just kept sticking by it, and I kept trying it and trying it. Anyway, I recut the bodice in a different size. I did it a different, I fitted it differently. It didn't work. I could not get it how I wanted it. So rather than abandoning it, and it has, with the drop skirt, it's got quite a lot of flare in it. It's not circular by any means, but it's got quite a lot of fabric in the panels. There are 3 panels at the front and 4 in the back, so it's got quite a nice kind of swish to it. So what can I do about it? But at the same time, I'd been making, I'll bring this one over, but I don't think I can. Everything will probably collapse now. This is Dotty. Let me see if you've got any of it. Yeah. So on this one, there is a seam here and a princess seam down there. And I thought, this one fits me really well. This was another one that I brought with me. It's 2015 when we moved. Yeah. And I don't know if you can see this one better now, anyway. But so this one, what I did was I copied this. So I used this pattern instead. So it's a mashup. Don't call it hack. It's a mashup. I have 2 grandchildren, and they do Lego mashups. This is a mashup. So it's that one. It's a McCall M60 28, and so I took the bodice, and I just had enough to remake the bodice from this out of the pieces that I had. Didn't have much left at all. So I did that, and but then I didn't want the bodice down to here like that. So I wanted to cut it off. Let me turn myself round again now. Ooh, I'm a bit near there. So I then wanted to cut it off, but I didn't know where to cut it off to be right. So I then used this one. So that's another amazing fit, 2247. I haven't made it yet in its entirety, but I'd bought it, sent for it, and I thought, so I made that bodice, but cut it off here, and then just brought up the waist, the dropped waist, all this lot of material up, and then started to narrow the seams from it. So I took the position of these princess seams and matched those I could match those to the panel at the front and lifted that up, and where it was too big I took it in, and I did that all round, and I was so pleased I'd got a good match on 3 of the parts of it. So then and then it was a case of narrowing in so that I could narrow it in for it to flare out, rather than it just all be hanging or flaring from there. I'm a person who loves I love my clothes to hug me. I find it less comfortable if they're swinging. Some of Tilly and the Buttons patterns, I really am. When I'd first done this, well, within about part way to getting it this tighter fit or this snugger fit, there was a point at which I felt if I put pockets in this, if I did inseam pockets here, I could sway it about, and I felt like that would be quite a good way of having a similar feel of the freedom from the lower skirt, but keeping the very fitted bodice that I really like. So I did think about that, and actually that's what I was aiming for. But then I just kept tweaking it and tightening it and fiddling with it, and I ended up with really a much more shapely fit. But I am very happy with it. But it has made me think that even when I do this one, I may not go for nipping it in as much. I may allow myself to have a bit more of a swish there, and I think that I will put inseam pockets in. I've never ever put inseam pockets in, so I sewed a lot when I was younger, but I'm very new. I don't know. In about 8 years ago, I did some sewing, like I said, and then I've not really sewn. I started this about 3 years ago and abandoned it for various reasons, and then since lockdown, this was my counselling room, so I would work from here, my counselling and Reiki room. But it's also our dining room, and it's our spare bedroom, so we have a sofa bed in here. So it's a bit of everything room. But because of lockdown, I've not been able to see clients. It's not been appropriate, and the restrictions are quite sensibly too strong for me to see people at home. People who are working in clinics can see people because they can make sure that they can be COVID safe with certain restrictions between. I know people don't want to go on about COVID, but it's a fact of life, isn't it? But it wouldn't be appropriate for it to be in your own home, because you can't then leave the place. You can't. People would be coming into my space. We would be responsible if we were to pass it on unknowingly, obviously, or for them to pass it on to me. It's that risk, and it's not a risk I would want to take, and it's not a risk that professionally is really appropriate at this point. In a closed room like this, there is another space I can use should I want to do that, wearing visors with COVID, whatever. So one don't need to go into that. But that meant I didn't need to have this space set up all the time as a counting room. So it gave me scope to be able to do some sewing and leave some things out. So the thing with sewing for me has always been, you do part of it and then you need to leave some out to do another day, or in another 3 days, or whenever you're free again. But having your own room is just such a luxury. And we downsized to this property, so prior to that I did have a room where I could leave things out. Not for long periods of time, but I could. But even just putting your sewing machine up, putting it away, the sewing machine I used to have was the one I'd had since I was 18, so it was a heavy old Singer swing needle machine. It was a brilliant machine. I didn't have any problems with it, but until, well, once when I was doing a silver wedding outfit for myself, and it just gave up the ghost. But my auntie lent me another one for the last. I was doing it in the week as the silver wedding was about to happen, as you do when you're sewing, and it broke with about 2 days to spare. So my auntie lent me her machine, and she also offered to have mine mended and serviced as a Christmas present, as a silver wedding present and Christmas present, because our wedding anniversary is November. So that was really kind of her, and other than that, it's never really let me down. I mean, we've had the odd jam, obviously, but it's never given up the ghost like it did then. Until about 8 years ago, 7 years ago, perhaps, and then I just had to let it go then, because there's only so many times you want to spend money on fixing a machine that old, and it was really heavy, so that's what I'm really talking about. But when we were looking after my mum, and she used to sew a lot in the past, and because since she'd got dementia, she couldn't manage to sew. She couldn't. Since she got older and her arthritis was much worse in her fingers, she couldn't manage to thread the needle. But there were some times when she just felt like she wanted to have a sew. So there was one at Aldi, for about £68, and it turned out it was a Singer Symphony. I think it's the Singer Talent, really, or Tradition. I can't remember which is ever the cheapest. And so we bought that for her, to sew a little bit supervised, so that she could do a little bit. But she really, by that time, she really wasn't up to it because of her dementia. So once she passed away, once she was no longer able to use it, then I brought that here, and as I've said in another video, she came to live with us. So I didn't have anywhere. This was her bedroom then, her bedroom and her sitting room. So it's been all sorts of rooms, this, and so I couldn't get my sewing out then. Anyway, so now I can leave my sewing machine up if I like, and just about end of July there was a special offer in Aldi on overlockers, and so I decided I would plunge and bought an overlocker. It's hidden over there in its cover, because who knew you needed to sew covers for your sewing machine and your overlocker and your spare sewing machine and a mat for all your tools at the side, and because that's the kind of thing I've been doing. And these, I've shown one before, scrap bags, and just doing anything really, sewist. So I don't really need to go on and on now today. I was just trying to say, I wanted to say that because I'm really proud of myself with this dress. Oh, and I also had enough for just short sleeves, but I didn't want to have it sleeveless. And yeah, I'm really pleased, because the things I've practiced on it are things like undersewing and making it neater inside. I didn't have the overlocker then, and it's helped me to see it construct it, but also to see it finished, and to recognise that I can achieve that, and I can achieve. It's not marvellous, and it doesn't matter whether you particularly like it. I like it. It's not marvellous, and it's not some kind of fashion icon piece of sewing, but I feel like I just feel proud of myself because I finished the damn thing, really. Yes. So I'd bought the overlocker, and there was a delivery issue, so it kept being not. We'd expected it and it didn't arrive, and then in the meantime, my lovely son, and my lovely daughter-in-law offered to buy me a new updated machine from the basic one that that had been my mum's, well, sort of my mum's. And they bought me a Singer. Well, I chose it. Singer Confidence, and I wasn't sure I loved it at first, because it was quite expensive, and I'm thinking, how can I justify this when I can do it on that? But no, it's really good. So I'm very pleased that I've now got some space, because I can leave my Singer Confidence out, my overlocker out, and my other spare Singer Talent, or whatever it is, my Singer Symphony. And yes, I've been busy making covers for them and things. So again, a nautical theme, because why wouldn't I? Yeah. So I think it's just I love Debbie Shaw's work. She's just, I know she's a professional presenter, and I like that about her. I also love the people who are just very basic and very kind of sat on their bed and just doing a selfie of the videos, a video selfie, and um, cutting out on the floor like I used to do. If I got down, I can't get up. And fortunately my table opens up so I can do that. So this is just another journey, a journey in my retirement, my semi-retirement, because I do want to get back into working, because I love what I do. So thank you for listening, and yeah, if you've liked what you've heard and you've seen, please give it a thumbs up and do subscribe if you want to see me again. Thank you very much. Bye. I'm Susan. Bye.